Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news. And looks like Trump-hating actor himself, Alec Baldwin, may actually be being charged for the murder of that film director on the set of his latest movie that he was filming in New Mexico, which was called Rust. This guy has been a deranged lunatic for a while, even after the shooting. He was a deranged lunatic, and he continued to try to presume he was innocent even though he was the one that pulled the trigger of the gun that ended up killing the film director. This person belongs in jail. He was negligent on his own set. He was a producer on that set. He had a responsibility to those employees that were on the set, and he carelessly handled a firearm and caught shot and killed someone. This actor also is an anti-gun liberal. Yeah, these anti-gun liberals have no problem using guns and killing people with them. A lot of conservatives don't have guns to defend themselves with. So let's go and take a look at what we have here. It says Alec Baldwin likely to face charges in the shooting death of cinematographer Halyna Hutcherson. So let's take a look at this here. It says Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack asked for funding to indict for defendant. Same one of the possible defendant as a well-known movie actor, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is likely to be charged for the shooting and killing of cinematographer Halyna Hutcherson on the set of his low-budget movie Rust in Bonanza City, New Mexico on October 21, 2021. The Daily Mail reports that the Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack submitted a letter on August 30 to New Mexico Financial Board asking for funding to indict 4 defendants, and it was recently approved. And the letter Carmack wrote one of the possible defendants, it's a well-known movie actor Alec Baldwin, can make Carmack asked for $635,000 to prosecute, and said that the murder charges were on the table along with other weapon-related charges. She said that the final piece of evidence was bugged with phone as authorities were waiting results from its analysis. After the shooting, Baldwin have issued a statement said there are no words to convey my shock and sadness regarding the tragic accident that took the life of Halyna Hutcherson, a wife, mother, and deeply admired colleague of ours. The movie was filming at the Bonanza Creek Ranch, a popular production location south of Santa Fe. Baldwin was also the producer on the film and previously said he doesn't blame himself for the accident. I feel that someone is responsible for what happened. I can't say who that is. But I know it's not me. Baldwin previously said. He said that the 24-year-old Almaner Armour or Anna a good arrest. Reed handed him the gun and he thought it was prepared properly. Good arrest. Reed has a nice she did anything wrong, but she was named by Hutcherson's family in the wrongful death lawsuit as being responsible for the tragedy. And a December 2021 interview with George Stephanopoulos. Alec Baldwin said he didn't pull the trigger. Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. Baldwin said I didn't pull the trigger. So you never pulled the trigger. So that's Stephanopoulos asked. No. Baldwin said I would never point a gun and pull the trigger at them. Never. And August, an FBI analysis concluded that Alec Baldwin indeed did pull the trigger of the gun that killed Hutcherson's and wounded director Joel Sazus. Baldwin said he thought the weapon was a cold gun, a .45 Colt caliber, a single-action revolver. It could not have been fired without pulling the trigger, according to the FBI forensic report. Well, I truly hope that Hutcherson family does get justice for her wrongful death by Alec Baldwin, a dirty-range Democrat actor lunatic. And then, Republicans are surging and the Democrats are freaking out as blue states. So now officially turning red. We're gonna see the latest blitzkrieg of polls, which are the GOP stomping the Democrats. We're gonna see how that's changing the political map as we speak. When we'll find out precisely what kind of turnout pollsters are expecting on election day. Alright, let's dive right in here. Republicans are surging. They are absolutely surging, big time. This is exactly what we predicted would happen. Starting around mid to late September, the cyclical Republican low, where the response bias and polling always overwhelmingly favors the Democrats in the late summer months, since Republicans actually have families and lives and we want to live our lives. You know, we don't want to be filling out polling questions and the like. It happens every election cycle, this response bias. Well, it appears to be over Republican voters, and independents appear to be very much engaged now in the upcoming midterms, and the polls are showing it. Look at this. From ABC News, Washington Post. In the congressional districts rated by 530 to 8 as the most competitive districts in the nation, those districts that are up for grabs, registered voters favor the Republican candidate by over 20 points, 55 to 34%. I mean, you don't get much more lopsided than that. Among likely voters, the nationwide average is Republicans up 5 according to the same poll, 51 to 46. By comparison, this time, in the year 2018, the last midterms, the Democrats had a 6-point lead over the Republicans, so this is a massive swing to the right. But when you begin breaking these polls down to where they really count, namely these highly competitive or the most competitive districts, generically, Republicans are standing on a 21-point lead. That's insane. That's astonishing. Kind of strange. The legacy media is little quiet on that one, isn't it? But it gets better. According to the same poll, 84% of voters say that the economy is their number one issue in their vote for Congress. 76%, and in light of that, these numbers are panicking. The Democrats look at this. The same poll shows that voters favor the Republicans on the economy by 17 points, 54 to 37. In terms of inflation, the Republicans win by nearly 20 points, 54 to 36. 84% of the voting population is going to be voting in a way that favors the GOP by 20 points. That's why I think we're seeing the same numbers in the highly competitive congressional districts. And moreover, in terms of dealing with crime, violent crime, the GOP blows away the Democrats by 22 points, 56 to 34. So the Democrats have lost the inflation and recession arguments. Their full-court press in the mainstream media to try to redefine recession, try to convince voters that inflation is actually good for you, has failed, and it's failed miserably. They've lost the defund the police fiasco. And at least when it comes to the most competitive districts, they don't seem to have just lost. It looks like the Democrats in the mainstream media have imploded. They're not even in the game. They're down by over 20 points. Now, this poll has been corroborated by the latest McLaughlin poll, that has the GOP up for among voters on the generic ballot nationally. And that significantly contrasts with what McLaughlin had a few months back during that polling low for Republicans. We talked about that poll had the Republicans and Democrats dead even on the generic ballot, so we're seeing a 4-point swing in the span of these last 4 weeks or so. So whether we're dealing with the ABC and Washington Post poll, or the McLaughlin poll, in fact, all of the latest polls that have come out in the last 24 hours or so, CBS YouGov Data for Progress, which is a Democratic poll, the Trafalgar Group, all of the polls show that GOP leading the generic ballot to Fogger as clearly as them up by 6. We're seeing a clear surge for the GOP, and this surge is beginning to take down blue states, and blue states are already officially going red. Take a look at the latest from Nevada. Now, this is amazing. According to the latest Trafalgar poll, Republican Adam Laxalt is surging past a Democrat Catherine Cortez Masto is now 4 points ahead of where they were tied just a couple of weeks back. At the same time, the GOP gubernatorial candidate Joe Lombardo is leading his Democratic candidate by 3 points. And again, this is a state that has voted for the Democrat presidential candidate in 5 of the last 7 elections. This is Harry Reid's state. Harry Reid, the Democratic Democrat, but it's not just Nevada. The Cook Political Report has just officially moved Oregon from lean Democrat to toss-up gang. This is Oregon. Oregon right now is moving towards the GOP. Oregon has not elected a Republican to the governor's mansion in literally decades. Republican candidate Christine Johnson is beginning to pull ahead in a 3-way race there that may see Republican takeover when the most solid blue states in the nation. And look at this in the liberal bastion of Washington, the state of Washington. The repulsively leftist Senator Patty Murray is in danger of losing her seat to a Republican challenger, Tiffany Smiley, who's within 2 points. She's within the margin of error in the most blue or blue states. We're seeing the Democrat going down in Wisconsin as well. Their lunatic leftist incumbent governor's fighting for his life. He's behind the Republican challenger, Tim Mitchells, who's began to surge past this incumbent governor, and this is happening at the same time. The pro-Trump Republican Senator Ron Johnson is searching past his Democratic opponent for the U.S. Senate. And we're seeing the same thing in Arizona. We're seeing it in Georgia. We're seeing it in Pennsylvania. We're seeing it in Ohio. Republican candidates have started to surge across the board. Now, of course, we can't be complacent. We all know complacency will lose this election. So we have to get out there in record numbers. Turnout is everything. The good news is that Robert Haley of Trafalgar is arguing that GOP voters get to come out numbers we may have never seen before. The electorate he believes will tip decisively in favor of the GOP. It'll be a plus GOP electorate. And even more than he's predicting, because this insane policy by the Democrats to not just demonize their political opponents but criminalize them through the weaponization the law that does have people scared to answer questions from pollsters, because they don't trust the pollsters. So C.A. Haley sees a response bias even now in favor of the Democrats. And so he thinks that response-wise is going to be exposed for what it is like. We've never imagined on election day when GOP voters come out en masse to bring these candidates over the top. And again, we've got to reiterate, this involves even flipping blue states red, just like what we saw in Virginia, with Glenn Youngkin last year. So let's get out there and do this. Let's get out there and make this red wave into a red tsunami, and let's crush the Democrats once and for all. Alright, thanks for being here folks, please receive a big hug from all of us. Let me know down below